Hello, bookish friends in the internet. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew, and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video, I am very excited to tell you guys it's kind of a late upload for this video, but it's finally time for my October wrap up. In the month of October, it was such a great wrap up for me because I completed my reading goal in this wrap up. Yay! I am currently sitting at 107 books read for the year so far, so I definitely passed my Goodreads goal of 100 books. I'm gonna leave it as it is, even though I'm still reading a lot in November and December. I'm just gonna leave it at 100 because I don't want to like get upset at myself later on in the end of the year. But anyways, I just want to say October was a great reading month. I'm gonna start off with the book that I'm currently reading. I'm actually like in the middle of 3 books right now, which is crazy because I haven't done that since like middle school. But I'm gonna talk about my current reads that I'm reading right now. Then we're gonna go into my monthly stats, and then we're gonna go into all the books that I've read and what their star ratings and how I felt about them. I will say I participated in 2 readathons. Both of them are my friend Clint's readathon, the I Know What You Did Last Summer readathon, which I'll leave, well, it's already passed, but I'll leave Clint's channel down below. I've also partaken in my friend Lori's readathon for the Chiller Thriller 4.0 with the 4th round of it. I'll leave her channel down below as always. You guys know and love who she is. She was actually on my reading vlogs recently for the weekly reading vlogs. Anyways, let's just jump into the current reads and then I'll go back and talk about all the stats that we need. So the first book I'm currently reading was on my November TBR, if I remember correctly. I am currently, let's see, 65 pages into this one, and that is The Dragon Promise by Elizabeth Lim. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I am, like I said, 65 pages into it. I'm not going to talk much about this one because it is a sequel, but I read, spoiler alert for my wrap up, I read Six Crimson Cranes in October and absolutely blown away by it. I gave it, spoiler alert, 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'll tell you why I didn't give it a full 5-star at the end of the video, because it's literally my last book I read of October. But as soon as I finished that book, I was like, I'm so happy I have book 2 on my shelf, and I'm so happy I'm currently reading it right now. So I started this, when did I start it? Yesterday? What is it? Thursday. I started this Tuesday night and it's already Thursday afternoon. So I'm definitely hoping to finish this by the weekend, maybe Saturday. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm hoping to tab it now that I have some tabs from my friend Lori, wherever I put my tabs at. Which drawer was it? These ones. So my friend Lori, she got me all these lovely tabs, so I cannot wait to start using these for The Dragon Promise and also all my other books that I'm currently reading. But yeah, enough said about this book. I'm currently reading this one and loving it, and hoping to finish it at by the time end of November comes around. So there's that. And if I haven't already mentioned, grab a drink, grab some snacks. It's kind of a long chatty video. Next book is, there's actually 2 books I'm reading for review. One of them is Princess Song and Sea by Lindsay Miller. I was really enjoying this from what I read of it so far. This one, I am 12 chapters in and there's 22 chapters, so I'm halfway through the book. Hoping to finish this up sometimes this weekend as well. Little Mermaid retelling from Eric's point of view. Not much to say other than that, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And then the other book is one of my most anticipated reads for the month of November. This one actually comes out this coming Tuesday, and that is Gleanings by Neil Shusterman. This is the newest book in the Scythe trilogy. I absolutely love that trilogy. You guys know it's one of my favorite series ever. And I'm currently reading this one as well, obviously. And I am 45 pages into it. Again, I'm physically reading. My love for physical reading is coming back. And I'm so happy it is because this is one of my most anticipated reads. And again, I'm hoping to finish this one up sometimes this week. Hopefully all 3 of these books would be in my November wrap up. If not, I'm okay with that. But yeah, as of right now, I'm enjoying all 3 and I'm just kind of bouncing between the 3 of them. So on to my monthly stats for the month, obviously. My page count for this month was surprisingly high, which I kind of saw coming because I read 13 books this month. So yay. My page count was 4,680 pages. My biggest book of the month was For the Throne by Hannah Whitten. This is the second and final book in this duology, which is another series completed. And this was actually my 100th book of the year. So, yay! I asked my friend Taylor from this book, another book that's in this wrap up, and one other book that's also in this wrap up, which should be my 100th book. And she was like, you should pick a series finale. So that's what I did. And I picked For the Throne, and I really enjoyed this. I give this 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know why I said 4. But I really enjoyed this, and yeah, it's my first book I'm going to mention in the wrap-up. So, and then my smallest book of the month is one of my graphic novels I read this month. I read Star Wars The High Republic Adventures Volume 3 for Light and Life. Is only like 112 pages. Did not look like 100 pages on camera, but apparently it is according to Goodreads. I really enjoyed this one as well. It's not my favorite out of the 3. I think Volume 2 was my favorite, but I give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then my favorite is a tie between For the Throne and The Final Gambit, which I have in here. So we love that. Going into my actual star ratings, I have 0 1 stars, 0 2 stars, 4 3 stars, 3 4 stars, 5 5 stars. 5 of these were arcs, 8 of these were audiobooks, 0 book of the month, 3 of these were buddy reads, 4 of these are completed series, 2 of them was graphic novels, 0 library books, which I'm kind of disappointed in. 4 of these I physically read, which I was very happy about. 9 of these were 2022 new releases. 3 of these were Owl Crate books that I read, which I'm also very happy with because I wanted to clear off my Owl Crate shelf. And then 5 of these were on my October TBR. So those are all my stats for this month. As you guys know, I always do those. And let's just jump into my wrap up because, like I said, this is going to be a long, chatty video. So the first book I got was sent to me to read and review from Jamie over at Rockstar Book Tours and from Disney over at Disney Books, obviously. And that is Surrey Boating Guide to Vampire Hunting by Roseanne A. Brown. I hope I said the characters' names right because I don't have an audiobook, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. But I read this earlier in the month and I really enjoyed it. This was actually a carryover from September because I started this at the end of September but finished it beginning of October. I really enjoyed this book. It was a really fun, easy read because obviously it's a middle grade. This is the first book by Roseanne A. Brown that is a middle grade, so I was literally happy to see how she can do from a YA book to middle grade, and it really shows how much humor she has as an author. And I just, knowing her as a person, I can definitely see her humor with Surrey's humor. I know I'm gonna butcher her name when I talk about this book. Anyways, I really enjoyed this. It was fast paced. There's found family in here, which I love that trope so much. And there's a hero's quest type of trope. I don't know if you consider that a trope, but I do. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. The ending of this book shocked me, and I'm so sad that we don't have book 2 yet. Book 2 won't come out till 2023, so sometimes next year, either in the summertime or fall time. But you bet you $1, I'm definitely going to pick up book 2 when it comes out. And I just hope they have matching covers because I hate it when they change midway through the series. Again, I don't know how long the series is going to be. I think it might be a duology, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fast-paced, easy read, and it took me like a week to read it just because I was physically reading it. But other than that, characters were amazing. There was parents in this book, which never really happens in a middle grade. Yeah, it's just fun, easy read. If you love the Percy Jackson series, you would definitely love this. Next book, I think I put too much hype around this one, so that's why this is my lowest rating book of the month. But that is Home Field Advantage by Delilah Alder. This is a female-female relationship in a sports theme type book. This is a YA LGBTQ contemporary novel, and it is very short and very easy to read. This is another one that I physically read because I was like, oh, it's so short and it will be simple to read. I think the one thing that kind of bugs me was how long the chapters were in here. And also, one of the characters in here was kind of rude to another character, so it's kind of hard to talk about this, but um, I don't know. I think I just hyped it up too much for myself because this was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it was sadly a letdown for me. But I will keep it because it is a beautiful cover, and I know I'm gonna love Delilah's work later on, hopefully. But yeah, I will say for now this is a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm so sad that I didn't love this one. Now the next two books that I'm going to talk about, because they're both by the same author, they both have weird ratings for these. I'm just going to show them off. And they are the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. I was supposed to buddy read both of these books with my friend Taylor, but she was so busy with work this past month that she didn't have time to read. So I was like, well, I'm not going to wait any longer. So I'm just going to read these on my own. And oh my gosh, I wish I had somebody to buddy read these with. I read these just on my own as just for fun. And I'm really happy I picked these up because not only did I have book 2 on my shelf by the time I picked up book 1, but I actually enjoyed this series a lot more than I thought I would because I love Caraval, so I was kind of skeptical to get into this one. But the only thing that confused me was the ending. Oh, not me knocking my notebook over. Oh well. The only thing that confused me about this was the time jump in here. And if you read this book, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I told you the titles of these, but when this one is Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then this one is The Ballad of Never After. I really enjoyed this world. I love how we have a cameo from one of the other characters in here. I'm not going to say who in case it's a spoiler. But I don't think you need to read the Caraval series in order to read these. I think you can read both series on their own. I think there's going to be a third book next year, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I was a little confused by this ending, so that's why this one has a 3.5 star instead of a solid 4 stars. Just because of the way that I was listening to it via audiobook, I was kind of confused, so I had to go back and look at it myself. I would say I love book 1 a little bit more just because of the ending of this one. It was a little confusing for me, but I am excited nonetheless to get my hands on book 3, and I hope Owl Crate does something for book 3 when it comes out next year. So I really hope they will do something because these are stunning editions, and I'm just happy. Again, I'm happy I read another Owl Crate series off my list, and like I said, I just have to wait for book 3 whenever that comes out. But yeah, I definitely recommend this series if you're looking for a fun, light, easy fantasy read. So the next book that I read, I actually read it for my friend Lori's readathon, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This one blew me away. Oh my gosh, I wish I did a reading vlog for this, that way I can rave and review about it in that reading vlog. But I buddy read this with my friend Lori, and we both absolutely loved it. I don't know if she gave it a 5 stars exactly. I'll have to text her after this video. But I give this 5 stars. It was such a fun, spooky read to read around the Halloween season. So if you're looking for a dark, atmospheric read, definitely check out this book. This follows Signa, I think is how you say the character's name. It's hard to pronounce, I'm so sorry. But it says, for as long as Signa has been alive, the people in her life have fallen like stars. Orphan as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Like, that just sounds amazing. It's hard to describe what this book is, but I feel like don't even know what other books this can be compared to, because there's a main character in here that is literally, his name is Death, so we follow Death as a main character in here. And then there was a plot twist in here that I was so blown away with. So if you read this book, you know what that plot twist is. The writing in here was beautiful. I've fallen in love with Adeline's writing, and I cannot wait for Foxglove. And I'm so happy they didn't change the covers of this series. But Foxglove comes out in August of next year, and I'm definitely gonna pick up that sequel next year. So very excited to see where we go from this. But also very eager to have Foxglove in my hand like now. So if there's arcs for it already, I'm gonna try and email a publishing company and see if I can get it. I don't know if there are arcs, but I guess if there is, I'll try and get my hands on it. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this. But I read this with Lori, so I'll leave Lori's channel down below. And I definitely cannot wait to read more from Adeline Grace. Let me double check to make sure I had the right order of the books. Yep. And then the next book I read was my 100th book of the year. I've already talked about this, and that is For the Throne by Hannah Whitten. I absolutely love this book. I already raved about this in the beginning, so I'm not going to talk too much about this. But I was really happy with how the series wrapped up. It was so nicely, so well put together. I kept having to turn the pages. It was so hard for me to put this book down. This is my 100th book of the year, so I'm so happy to say I completed my reading challenges for that. And if you love a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, you would definitely love this duology, because that's what it is, but it's a bit darker than the original story is. So I love that even more. And we also have like a good love triangle finally in a fantasy book. I feel like it's hard for me to find a good love triangle type of trope in fantasy books lately, especially adult fantasy. To me, when I was reading this didn't feel like it was an adult fantasy, maybe because it was just that easy for me to read. But I really overall enjoyed this, and it's hard to talk about a sequel without spoiling you of what happened in book one. But just know we pick up right where we left off in book one and continue the story, and then wraps up the story nicely. So I really enjoyed this, gave it 5 stars. Definitely gonna be on my favorite list at the end of the year, so check out for that video. Next book is a graphic novel, and I sadly wasn't a huge fan of it, and that was The OK Witch and the Hungry Shadow by Emma Steinkiller. This is another book I read for my friend's Clint's readathon. I think it was for the prompt of a graphic novel, I think. I could be getting confused with the two readathon. Overall, it was a fun, quick, easy read. I put this in my weekend reading vlog or my weekly. Can't remember which one, but it will be linked up above or down below. It's a fast, easy middle grade. Definitely for middle grades, because I really enjoyed it, but just felt kind of a little kiddish for me. But the artwork in here was kind of cute, and yeah, it's just overall wasn't my favorite. It's definitely my least favorite out of all the ones, but I don't know. I might unhaul this, I might not, because I don't even own book one, so I might unhaul this. So we'll see. I think it might be going bye-bye, or it might be staying on my red shelf, but we'll see. I didn't really enjoy it. It was cute. It was fun. Definitely helped me get to my reading goal. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Sorry to be negative. The next book I read, oh, I'm so happy I finally completed this trilogy. I buddy read this book with my friend Kaylani over at Kaylani, Simply Me. I can never say your name fast, girl. And that is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is definitely, if I had to choose one book out of all of my 5-star reads, I'll probably say this is my favorite book of the month, because if you don't know, this is the 3rd and final book in the Inheritance Game trilogy. Oh my gosh, cannot speak today. So if you don't know, this follows our main character named Avery as she is chosen in this family. And she's not even part of this family, but she gets chosen to be in the whale, and she gets like $1,000 billion to be in this famous, like, not haunted mansion, but it is like a mansion in this world with secret passages and puzzles and clues. It was kind of fun mystery thriller book to read around this time. I remember reading book 2 and wasn't a huge fan of it, so I was kind of another book that I was kind of nervous to go into. But I know a lot of people have really loved this recently. I'm one of those people who really loved it. I'm so happy I was able to love it as much as I am raving about this book. Um, I don't know. Again, it's hard to get into sequels because I don't want to spoil you guys of what happens, but I think Kaylani and I both really loved it, and we loved having a midnight conversation about it. And yeah, I'm so happy. And I know there's going to be a new book in this series, but I don't know if it's part of the trilogy or if it's going to be like a new spin-off series. But otherwise, I'm really excited for that. That one won't come out till August of next year either. But again, I just love this world and so happy how she ended up with one of the boys in here. But yeah, I'm really happy of how this turned out. Fun, fast-paced read, and I'm just happy I got another series off my list. The next book is one that actually blew me out of the waters, and this is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is the second novel I read by Emily Lloyd Jones, one that I've actually really enjoyed. The other one was The Bone Houses, I think, right? Yes, The Bone Houses. I read that one last year around this time, I believe, and I really enjoyed it. And then I read this one during like the October month, and I really enjoyed it too. Again, this is in one of my reading vlogs, so I'll leave that up above. You can see me rave about that because I talked about that one in my reading vlog, and I also have a book review on my TikTok, so go look down below. I'll leave my TikTok down below. But anyways, I really enjoy this. This is another found family heist novel, which I did not expect it to be a heist novel, but I was really happy that I read another Owl Crate book, and I'm also happy to get another book off my shelf. I kind of want a sequel for this, but I also kind of don't, but I will be intrigued to see how she would do a sequel to this if she does. But yeah, it's just fun, fast paced, deals with magical creatures, deals with a spooky cave and a heist that you did not see coming. So I really enjoyed it. I also buddy read this with my friend Lori, so we both really enjoyed this one. So hoping for more books by Emily Lloyd Jones in the future. So we will see. I don't know if I said my rating for this one, but I give this one 4.5 5 stars. Next book I read was another series finale, and that is Still With Me by Jessica Consolo. This is one that I buddy read with my friend Taylor. This series means everything. It is amazing. I never thought I would say I love a romance series on my channel, but this is definitely a series I would recommend on my channel a lot. I read She's With Me back in like 2020 when it first came out, and then I was waiting for the sequel, and I read the sequel this past year, or this year actually, and then I picked up the third book finally. And I was kind of scared to pick up this one because it is a series finale of a series I loved. So I'm kind of nervous for that. But overall, it turned out to be really, really good. I was texting Taylor so much. I was kind of screaming a lot at her too because she finished this before I did. So it was kind of funny to see both of our reaction. But I don't think anyone have talked about this series enough, and more people need to know. And it just, oh, so well done. There's definitely some trigger warnings in here, though, so definitely check those out before getting into the series. But overall, I really loved the way this series wrapped up, and it's just another 5-star read. And I can't say much more because it is a sequel, but the twists and turns in here were amazing, and I kept texting Taylor till like midnight. And I'm so sorry, Taylor, but also not, because I really loved this book. Next book I read was another book I needed to read and review for my tours, and that is The Lord of Nights by J.C. Cavent. This was so fun to read. It is a middle grade novel that is the first book in the new spin-off series by J.C. Cavent, who is the author of the Stormrunner trilogy. I really enjoyed this. This wasn't quite a 5-star because the main character was a little annoying for my taste. But I love how they traveled to Vegas. That was a fun scene to read about. Just picturing them on the strip, and I'm like, what? That's so weird and crazy. It's fun, mystical, another found family, and another hero's quest. But yeah, we do get to see characters from the Stormrunner trilogy in here, but they're not like the main focus. They're more like side characters. Overall, I really enjoyed this. I have my book review on my Instagram account, so go look over there. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Love the writing, love the world. And again, I cannot believe book 2 doesn't come out till next year, but I'm gonna get it either way. um, but yeah, book 2 comes out next year, and I'm hoping I would get to it sometimes next year whenever it comes out. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Give it 4.5 stars, and yeah, that's all I can say without spoiling it either. So, um, mythology inspired, and it's fun. So that's all I would say. You guys know I'm bad at wrap ups. The next book I read is Star Wars The High Republic Adventures Volume 3. I've already talked about this, so I'm not going to take too long about this book. I give it 3.5 stars. Not my favorite out of the 3. I think Volume 2 is definitely my favorite, but I still love the world and the writing, so I'll definitely support this series. Getting to the final book of this wrap up is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is the first book in a new series by Elizabeth Lim. As you guys know, I'm currently reading book 2, and I'm really loving book 2 so far. This one was so fun. I picked this up on a whim because I wanted to do the buzzword for October, which is to read a book with animals either in the title or animals on the cover, and it happened to have both on the cover and in the titles. So I was like, oh, that's perfect for a buzzword. So I picked it up and I started reading it, and I got 100 pages in, and then I couldn't put it down. It was such a fun first book in a series where you get to meet a girl who's like kind of undercover, I guess, in this world. It's kind of like another Mulan retelling, but different. It's kind of hard to talk about this without spoiling you guys of the twists and turns. But it followed, I think her name is Shuri, if how you say it correctly, is the princess of this kingdom, and she has forbidden magic and she's trying to conceal it. But she also meets this sorcerer who they happen to fall in love and whatnot. So it was fun. It was a fun, quick read. Even though it is like 400 pages, I read it in like 2 or 3 days. It was just a fun, easy read, and I fell in love with the characters. So I'm excited to see where the story goes in book 2. So yeah, that's all I'll say for this without spoiling it too much. And I might do a book review on my channel once I wrap up the series. So there you have it. Those are all the 13 books that I read in the month of October. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry this was such a long video. If you read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them down below. And yeah, I'll just chat with you guys down below. Hope you have a great Thursday and a great rest of your weekend, and I'll chat with you guys down below. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so. Please turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll just chat with you down below. Bye guys.